Welcome back to the AAA MF YouTube channel. Today we're featuring two brand new 911s. We've got a 992.2 Carrera and we have a 992.2 GTS Cabriolet. The first time Porsche have ever put hybrid technology into a 911. Is the base model going to feel underpowered despite the fact that it now has close to 400 brake horsepower? And is the hybrid technology going to still feel like a 911? Come and join us to find out. So we're starting in the Carrera, which is £100,000 and has 394 brake horsepower from a 3-litre twin-turbo engine. It's not cheap. This car comes in at £122,000 with some options. My favourite option on it is this heated race tech steering wheel, which feels really lovely. And the suspension is really good on UKB roads. We've been driving it now all morning. It's really nice. It soaks up the roads well. And we're driving in the rain. And it feels really nice and compliant and composed. But then, when you put it into Sport Plus, whoa, it's like a different animal. I mean, it sounds much better and the pickup is amazing. I mean, you really don't need more power than this in a car. The only thing I would say, the engine lacks a little bit of character, but I've just jumped out of my GT4 RS, so I'm comparing a naturally aspirated flat six to a turbocharged car, so it's never going to sound as good, but it's much more comfortable than my car, and it would make a perfect daily. I actually haven't got anything to say about it. I quite like the new digital dash. My cameraman David doesn't like it. He prefers the analog setup, but it's a really nice car to drive. It's got loads of power. It's really comfortable. And I think in this slate grey, it looks really good. I mean, what's a 541 brake horsepower GTS going to feel like after this? I really can't think of anything bad to say after driving this all morning. The steering is fairly good. It's not super sharp, but it's fairly good. Remember, this is a base model, so it's not meant to be sporty. It's meant to be something that you can drive every single day, that looks good, that's comfortable, and has lots of power. And it fits all of that criteria. The only downside, I think, to this car is that you still need to add quite a few options to get it to a spec that looks pretty good. And £122,000 is quite a lot of money for a base 911, especially given what's on the second-hand market. Why don't we jump in to the GTS and see how different that car is? So we're now in the 992.2 GTS Cabriolet. Very lucky to be in this car, thanks to Nathan. He picked it up a week ago. This car comes in at £155,000 with options, 541 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, close to 200 miles an hour top speed. But what you want to know is, and what I want to know, does it feel like a 911? Does the hybrid technology work? Does it interfere with the driving experience? Is it much more exciting than the base model? Why don't we find out? So we're driving in absolutely treacherous conditions today, pouring with rain. And you know what? It's doing really well. It's got fantastic grip. This is only a rear-wheel drive car as well. You can get it in four-wheel drive. What's really good about this hybrid technology is it just gives you instant power in every single gear. So there's no lag at all, which makes it really exciting, because you come out of a corner, put your foot down, and there's just no lag at all. I really, really like it. I know it might sound obvious, but it is a lot more exciting to drive than the base model. I wasn't expecting it to be so much better. I think it's the addition of the noise from the exhaust. It sounds quite loud, but not intrusively loud. It feels like a very special place to be honest, inside the cabin. The handling is really good. We're on like leafy country lanes with loads of water. It's not kicking out at all. Yeah, the power delivery is really fantastic. And what's really clever is they've managed to make it feel more exciting than actually the older 911s. And I didn't think I was going to say that. Older 911s tend to be quite heavy. They tend to have a lot of turbo lag if you're using a turbo. I used to have a 964 turbo 3.6. I had a 993 turbo. You get loads of turbo lag in both of those cars. There's no turbo lag at all in this, but it still looks like a 911, and it looks fantastic. I really like the design of this car as well. What's it going to be like when they put hybrid technology into a GT3? Can you imagine if this is what a GTS is like? This is already a fantastic package. What about the price? This one is $155,000 with some options. Is that a lot of money for a GTS? And what else can you get for that price? $155,000. On the second-hand market, you can get loads of stuff now because car prices have collapsed. You could get an MC20 for £150,000. You can get a Ferrari Roma for £150,000. We tested one of those on the channel. That was a beautiful car. But this has 2 little rear seats in the back, which you can actually use. Most of the supercars on the market at that price point don't have rear seats, or they don't have rear seats you can actually use. So if you need the rear seats, again, there's not many options if you want something that's as sporty as this. As I think now, this car with the hybrid technology feels like a supercar. It reminds me a little bit of my McLaren 650S in the way that it just takes off. I mean, it's instant power, instant, and it sounds great. It handles well. I don't think I would buy the base model now after driving this. This is just so much more exciting to drive. But this is going to appeal to real car enthusiasts who love driving cars. If you want a daily driver, that base model is really lovely. It just doesn't have the character of this car, and it's not about the speed per se. It's more about the character of the car. This one just feels more urgent with the hybrid technology. The exhaust note is really good. The steering feels sharper. What a wonderful package. What a wonderful package. I love it. And I didn't think I was going to like it, because typically I like GT3 models, and GTSs in the past haven't really been that exciting to drive. They've been quite good value because they put loads of options on the cars and they look good, but they've never really felt as exciting to drive as the GT3. This one feels really exciting. I love it. That pickup is unbelievable. And what's really nice is you've got the petrol engine with the electric technology, because most electric cars, the only fun is the actual acceleration. And once you accelerated in an electric car a few times, it gets a little bit boring. Yes, they're great to drive, and it's nice to have that power always on hand, but there's a little bit of character missing from electric cars. But when you've got a combination of the petrol and the electric done so well by Porsche, it turns into a fantastic car. I really, really like it. Huge thumbs up from me. Normally I do get out of the car to do my sign off, but it's pouring with rain. It's freezing cold in London. So the next video I'm going to bring you is going to be from sunny Florida. So I look forward to seeing you then. Happy Christmas, and we'll see you soon.